I pray thee, Rosalind, sweet, my cuz be merry.
Dear Celia, I show more mirth than I am mistress of, and would you yet I were merrier? Unless you could teach me to forget a banished father, you must not learn me how to remember any extraordinary pleasure.
Herein I see thou lovest me not with the full wit that I love thee. If my uncle, thy banished father, had banished thy aunt, the Duchess, my mother, so thou hast still been with me, I could have taught my love to take thy father for mine. So wast thou, if the truth of thy love were so righteously tempered as mine is to thee.
Well, I'll forget the condition of my estate to rejoice in yours.
You know my mother hath no child but I, Ronan is like to have, and truly, when she dies, thou shalt be her heir. For what she hath taken away from thy father perforce, I'll render thee again in affection. By mine honour I will. And when I break that oath, let me turn monster. Therefore, my sweet Rose, my dear Rose, be merry.
From henceforth I will, coz, and devise sports. Let me see. What think you of falling in love?
Mary, I pray thee do to make sport withal, but love no man in good earnest, neither with the safety of a pure blush thou mayst in honour come off again.
What shall be our sport then?
Let us sit and mock the good housewife Fortune from her wheel, that her gifts may henceforth be bestowed equally.
I would we could do so, for her benefits are mightily misplaced, and the bountiful blind woman doth most mistake in her gifts to women.
'Tis true, for though she makes fair, she scarce makes honest, and though she makes honest, she makes very ill-favouredly.
Nay, now thou goest from Fortune's office to Nature's. Fortune reigns in the gifts of the world, not in the lineaments of nature.
No, when nature hath made a fair creature, may she not by fortune fall into the fire? Though nature hath given us wit to flat at fortune, hath not fortune sent in this fool to cut off the argument?
Indeed, there is fortune too hard for nature, when fortune makes nature as natural the cutter off of nature's wit.
Peradventure this is not fortune's work neither, but nature's, who perceiveth our natural wits too dull to reason as such goddesses, and hath sent in this natural for our whetstone. For always the dullness of the fool is the whetstone of the wits. How now, wit? Whither wander you?
Come on, since the youth will not be entreated his own peril on his forwardness.
Is yonder the man?
Even he.
Alas, he is too young. Yet he looks successfully.
How now, daughter and cousin? Have you crept hither to see the wrestling?
Ay, my liege, so please you give us leave.
You will take little delight in it, I can tell you. There is such odds in the man. In the pity of the challenger's youth, I would fain dissuade him, but he will not be entreated. Speak to him, ladies. See if you can move him.
Call him hither, good Monsieur Le Beau.
Do so. I'll not be by. Monsieur the challenger, the princess calls for you.
I attend them with all respect and duty.
Young man, have you challenged Charles the wrestler?
No, fair princess, he is the general challenger. I come in but as others do, to try within the strength of my youth.
Young man, your spirits are too bold for your years. You have seen cruel proof of this man's strength. If you saw yourself with your eyes or knew yourself with your judgment, the fear of your adventure would counsel you to a more equal enterprise. We pray you, for your own sake, to embrace your own safety and give over this attempt.
Do, young sir. Your reputation shall therefore not be misprized. We'll make it our suit to the Duchess that the wrestling might not go forward.
I beseech you, punish me not with your hard thoughts, wherein I confess me much guilty to deny so fair and excellent ladies anything. But let your fair eyes and gentle wishes take me to my trial, wherein if I be foiled, there is but one shame that was never gracious. If killed, but one dead that was willing to be so. I shall do my friends no wrong, for I have none to lament me. The world no injury, for in it I have nothing. Only in the world I fill up a place, which may be better supplied when I have made it empty.
The little strength that I have, I would it were with you.
And mine, to eke out hers.
Fare you well. Pray heaven I be deceived in you.
Your heart's desires be with you.
Ready, miss, but his will have it in a more modest working.
You shall try but one fall.
And you mean to mock me after? You should not have mocked me before, but come your ways.
Now, Hercules, be thy speed, young man.
I would I were invisible to catch a strong fellow by the leg.
Bear him away. What is thy name, young man?
Orlando, my liege, the youngest son of Sir Alan de Boys.
I would, hadst thou been son to some man else, the world esteemed thy father as honorable. But I did still find him mine enemy. Thou shouldst have better pleased me with this deed, hadst thou descended from another house. But fare thee well, thou art a gallant youth. I would, hadst thou told me of another father.
Were I my mother, cuz, would I do this?
I am more proud to be Sir Alan's son, his youngest son, and would not change that calling to be adopted heir of Frederick.
My father loved Sir Rowland as his soul, and all of the world is of my father's mind. Had I known before this young man his son, I should have given him tears into entreaties, ere he should thus have ventured.
Gentle cousin, let us go thank him and encourage him. My mother's rough and envious disposition sticks me at heart. Sir, you have well deserved. If you do keep your promises in love, as you have exceeded all promise, your mistress shall be happy.
Gentlemen, wear this for me. One out of the suits with fortune that could give more than her hand lacks means. Shall we go, cuz?
Aye. Fare you well, fair gentlemen.
What? Can I not say I thank you? My better parts are all thrown down, and that which here stands is but a quintain, a mere lifeless block.
She calls us back, my pride felt with my fortune. I'll ask him what he would. Did you call, sir? Sir, you have wrestled well and overthrown more than your enemies.
Will you go, cuz?
Have with you. Fare you well.
What passion hangs these weights upon my tongue? I cannot speak to her, yet she urged conference. Oh, poor Orlando, thou art overthrown, or Charles or something weaker masters thee.
Good sir, I do in friendship counsel you to leave this place. I'll bet you have deserved high commendation, true applause and love, yet such as now my own condition more suits you to conceive than I to speak of.
I thank you, man. And pray you tell me this, which of the two daughters of the Duke was here at the wrestling?
Neither her daughter, if we judge by manners. But yet indeed the lesser is my daughter. The other is daughter to the banished Duke, and here detained by her upserving uncle to keep his daughter company, whose loves are dearer than the natural bond of sisters. But I can tell you that of this late Duchess hath taken displeasure against his gentle niece, but that the people praise her for her virtues. I pity her for her good father's sake, and on my life his malice against the lady will suddenly break forth. Sir, fare you well.
I rest much bound into you, fare thee well. Thus must I from the smoke into the smother, from tyrant Duchess unto a tyrant brother, but heavily Rosalind.
Good morrow, fair ones. Pray you, if you know, where in the pearliest of this forest stands a sheepcote, fenced about with olive trees?
West of this place, down in Neighbor Bottom, the rank of osiers by the murmuring stream, left, on your right hand, brings you to the place. But at this hour the house doth keep itself. There is none within.
If that and I may profit by a tongue, then I should know you by description, and such garments and such years. The boy is fair of female favor and bestows himself like a ripe sister. The woman low and browner than her brother. Are you not the owner of the house I did inquire for?
It is no boast being asked to say we are.
Orlando doth commend him to you both, and to that youth he calls his Rosalind, he sends this bloody napkin. Are you he?
I am. What must we understand by this?
Some of my shame. If you will know of me, what man I am, and where and why this handkerchief was stained.
I pray you, tell it.
When last the young Orlando parted from you, he left a promise to return again. And within an hour, and pacing through the forest, chewing the food of sweet and bitter fancy, lo, what befell! He threw his eye aside, and mark what object did present itself. Under an oak whose boughs were mossed with age, and high top bald with dry antiquity, a wretched, ragged man, overgrown with hair, lay sleeping on his back. Around his neck, a green and gilded snake had wreathed itself, who, their head nimble in threats, approached the opening of his mouth. But suddenly, seeing Orlando, it unlinked itself, and with indented glides did slip away into a bush, under which bush's shade a lioness, the letters drawn dry, lay crouching, head on ground, with cat-like watch, when that the sleeping man which should stare, for 'tis the royal disposition of that beast to eat nothing that seems as dead. This seen, Orlando did approach the man, and found it was his brother, his elder brother.
Oh, I have heard him speak of that same brother, and he did render him the most a natural that lived amongst men.
And well might he do so, for well I know he was unnatural.
But to Orlando? Did he leave him there? Food to the hungry and sucked lioness?
Twice he dared turn his back and proposed so, but kindness nobler ever than revenge, and nature stronger than his just occasion, made him give battle to the lioness, who quickly fell before him, in which, hurtling from miserable slumber, I awakened.
Are you his brother?
Was 't you he rescued?
Was it you that did so oft contrive to kill him?
Was I, but 'tis not I. I do not shame to tell you what I was, since my conversion so sweetly tastes being the thing I am.
But for the bloody napkin?
By and by. When, from the first to last twixt us two, tears our countenance had most kindly bathed, that's how I came into that desert place. In brief, he led me to the gentle Duke, who gave me fresh array and entertainment, committing me unto my brother's love, who led me instantly unto his cave, there stripped himself, and here, upon his arm, the lioness had torn some flesh away, which all this while had bled. And now he fainted and cried upon fainting upon Rosalind. Brief, I recovered him, bound up his wound, and after some small space, being strong at heart, he sent me hither, stranger as I am, to tell this story that you might excuse his broken promise, and to give this napkin, dyed in his blood, unto the shepherd youth, that he in sport doth call his Rosalind.
Why, how now, Ganymede! Sweet Ganymede!
Many will swoon when they do look upon blood.
There is more in it. Cousin Ganymede.
Look, he recovers.
I would I were at home.
We'll lead you thither. I pray you. Will you take him by the arm?
Be of good cheer, youth. You a man. You lack a man's heart.
I do so, I confess it. Ah, sirrah, a body would think how well I counterfeited. I pray you tell your brother how well I counterfeited. Hi-ho.
This was not counterfeit. There's too great testimony in your complexion that it was a passion of earnest.
Counterfeit, I assure you.
Well then, take a good heart and counterfeit to be a man.
So I do. But I faith I should have been a woman by right.
Come, you look paler and paler. We pray you. Draw homewards. Good sir, go with us.
That will I, for I must bear answer back. How you excuse my brother, Rosalind.
I shall devise something, but I pray you, commend my counterfeiting to him. Will you go? Oh, my dear Orlando, how grieves me to see thou wear a heart in a scarf.
It is my arm.
I thought thy heart had been wounded with the claws of a lion.
Wounded it is, but with the eyes of a lady.
Did your brother tell you how I counterfeited to swoon when he showed me your handkerchief?
Aye, greater things than that.
Oh, I know where you are. Nay, 'tis true. There was never anything so sudden but the fight of 2 rams and Caesar's thrasonical brag if I came, saw, and overcame. For your brother and my sister no sooner met, but they looked. No sooner looked, but they loved. No sooner loved, but they sighed. No sooner sighed, but they asked one another the reason. No sooner knew the reason, but they sought the remedy. And in these degrees they have made a pair of stairs to marriage, which they will climb incontinent, or else be incontinent before marriage. They are in the very wrath of love, and they will together. Clubs cannot part them.
They shall be married tomorrow, and I will bid the Duke to the nuptial. But oh, how bitter a thing it is to look into happiness through another man's eyes. By so much the more shall I tomorrow be at the height of heart heaviness. By how much I shall think my brother happy in having what he wishes for.
Why then? Tomorrow I cannot serve your turn for Rosalind?
I can live no longer by thinking.
I will weary you then no longer with idle talking. Know of me then, for now I speak to some purpose, that I know you are a gentleman of good conceit. I speak not this that you should bear a good opinion of my knowledge, insomuch I say I know you are. Neither do I labor for a greater esteem than may some little measure draw belief from you to do yourself good and not to grace me. Believe then, if you please, that I can do strange things. I have since I was 3 years old, conversed with a magician, most profound in his art and yet not damnable. If you do love Rosalind so near the heart as your gesture cries out, when your brother marries Aliana, you shall marry her. I know into what straits of fortune she is driven. It is not impossible to me, if it appear not inconvenient to you, to set her before your eyes tomorrow, human as she is, without any danger.
Speakest thou in sober meanings?
By my life I do, which I tender dearly, though I say I am a magician. Therefore, put you in your best array, bid your friends, for if you will be married tomorrow, you shall, and to Rosalind if you will.
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
Who do you speak to? Why blame me to love you?
To her that is not here, and doth not hear.
Pray you no more of this. 'Tis like howling of Irish wolves against the moon. I will help you if I can. I would love you if I could. Tomorrow meet me all together. I will marry you if I ever marry woman, and I'll be married tomorrow. I will satisfy you if I ever satisfied man, and you shall be married tomorrow. I will content you if what pleases you contents you, and you shall be married tomorrow. As you love Rosalind meat, as you love meat, and I love no woman as I'll meet. So fare you well. I have left you commands. It is not the fashion to see the lady the epilogue, but it is no more unhandsome than to see the lord the prologue. If it be true that good wine needs no bush, 'tis true that a good play needs no epilogue. Yet to good wine they do use good bushes, and good plays prove better by the help of good epilogues. What a case am I in then, that am neither a good epilogue, nor cannot insinuate you in behalf of a good play? I am not furnished like a beggar. Therefore, to beg will not become me. My way is to conjure you. And I'll begin with the women. I charge you, O women, for the love you bear to men, to like as much of this play as please you. And I charge you, O men, for the love you bear to women, as I perceive by your simpering, none of you hates them, that between you and the women the play may please. If I were a woman, I would kiss as many of you as had good beards that pleased me, complexions that liked me, and breaths that I defied not. And I am sure as many as have good breaths or good faces or sweet breaths will, for my kind offer, when I make curtsy, bid me farewell.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. At first, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms, and then the whining schoolboy, with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like a snail unwillingly to school. And then the lover, sighing like a furnace, with a woeful ballad made to his mistress' eyebrow. And then the soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation, even in the cannon's mouth. Then the justice, in fair round belly and good capon lined, full of wise saws and modern instances, eye severe and beard of formal cut. And so he plays his part. The 6th age shifts to the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose, pouch on side, his youthful hose, a world too wide for his shrunk shank, and his big manly voice, turning again towards childish treble, pipes and whistles in his sound. Last scene of all, that ends this strange, eventful history, is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.